Welcome to our channel. April 1944, Brazos County, Texas. Lena Fisher had never imagined she'd find herself here, a German prisoner of war standing in the middle of a Texas ranch, about to learn cattle work from the enemy, the German girls. A young man approached, maybe 25, dusty cowboy hat, shadowing blue eyes that looked too kind for wartime. "I'm Jake Carson. I'll be teaching you ranch work." "Yes," Lena replied carefully in accented English. She was 23, dark-haired former telegraph operator from Berlin. Behind her, 8 other German POWs waited nervously. "We are ready to work." "Good, because ranching doesn't care about wars or politics. Cattle need tending." Whether you're American or German, Jake's tone was matter of fact, not hostile. "You'll work hard, follow rules and earn your keep." "Fair, fair," Lena agreed. The contradiction was staggering, enemy women working freely on American ranches while their countries destroyed each other. How had captivity led to this strange freedom? This story began with a labor shortage and an unexpected attraction that would challenge everything. 2 people believed about loyalty, love, and where home truly was. But before we discover how enemies became something more, tell us where you're watching from. We love hearing from viewers across the world who find these hidden love stories as compelling as we do. Jake demonstrated basic tasks: mending fences, feeding livestock, cleaning equipment. His hands were capable, weathered, moving with confidence, born from years of ranch life. "You grew up here?" Lena asked during a water break. "Born and raised 4th-generation Carson on this land." "You, Berlin city girl?" "I've never touched a cow before yesterday." "How'd you end up here?" "Texas seems a long way from Berlin." "Long story, I was telegraph operator, military communications. Our unit was captured in France. They sent us here instead of regular P camp, said they needed workers." "Lucky you, regular camps are rough." Jake paused, seeming to weigh his next words. "My brother's in Europe fighting somewhere in France. I think I pray every night he's treated decent if he gets captured." The admission created unexpected common ground. Lena's throat tightened. "I hope so too." "I hope," she stopped, uncertain how much to share. "Furthermore, I hope all the prisoners, all sides, are treated. Human war is terrible enough without cruelty added." Jake looked at her, then really looked, and Lena felt something shift. His eyes held recognition, not of an enemy but of a person, someone as caught in this nightmare as he was. "You're different than I expected," he said quietly. "How did you expect?" "Harder, colder, more." He searched for the word enemy, "but you just seem tired and far from home." "I am tired and very far from home." "Then let's get you through today, one day at a time. That's how ranching works. That's how surviving works too." As they walked back to the corral, Lena felt Jake's eyes on her, not threatening, not predatory, just curious, interested. And she realized with alarm that she was interested too in the enemy, in a Texas cowboy who showed unexpected kindness, in someone who made captivity feel less like prison and more like possibility. "Tomorrow," Jake said as the PS loaded into the transport truck at day's end, "same time, we'll work the north pasture, I'll be here." Lena replied, "Good, I'm counting on it." The words meant something more than work assignments. They both knew it. And that terrified Lena more than captivity ever had, because falling for the enemy wasn't just against regulations, it was against everything she'd believed about loyalty, identity, and where her heart should belong. But Jake, Carson's blue eyes suggested maybe, just maybe, the heart didn't care about borders. And that was the most dangerous thought of all. Over the following weeks, Jake and Lena developed a routine. He'd teach her ranch skills: roping, branding, riding. She'd improve rapidly, eager to prove herself capable. And they'd talk carefully at first, then more openly. "Tell me about Berlin," Jake said one afternoon while they repaired fence posts. What's it like? Like Lena corrected. I don't know what's left now. Bombings, destruction. Everything I knew is probably gone. Your family, my parents, died before the war. Illness not fighting my brother, her voice caught. He's in the vernacular somewhere. I haven't heard from him in over a year. I'm sorry, are you? He's fighting your countrymen, killing Americans. Maybe. Why would you be sorry? Jake stopped working, met her eyes directly. Because he's your brother, because you love him and you're worried. That doesn't change just because we're enemies. The compassion in his voice broke. Something in Lena's carefully maintained defenses, tears threatened. I shouldn't be talking to you like this, she whispered. You're the enemy, I'm supposed to hate you. Do you hate me? Lena looked at him, this young man who'd shown her nothing but respect and kindness, who taught patiently, who treated her like a person, not a prisoner. No, she admitted, I don't hate you at all. Then maybe we're doing something right. Maybe we're proving people can be human even when governments say they're enemies. The word stayed with Lena that night. Back in the barracks, the other PS noticed her distraction. You're thinking about him? Greta observed she was older, married, practical. The young cowboy Jake. I'm not, don't lie, we all see it the way he looks at you, the way you look back. It's wrong, Lena protested. He's American, I'm German. We're enemies. Are you, Greta? Asked gently. You work beside him every day. He teaches you. You laugh together. Where exactly is the enemy in that? But when the war ends, everything changes anyway. Why not let yourself feel something good while you can? The permission Gina needed, but also feared, because allowing herself to feel for Jake meant betraying Germany, betraying her brother who might be dying in a foxhole somewhere. Betraying everything she was supposed to be. But Jake made it so easy to forget all that, to just be Lena and Jake, two people working together under the Texas sun. You're getting good at this, Jake said a week later, watching her expertly rope a fence post for practice. Better than some guys I've worked with for years. I have a good teacher. You have natural talent and determination, he paused. Lena, can I ask you something personal? Yes, when the war ends, and it will end, probably soon, what will you do? Go back to Germany, the question she'd been avoiding. I don't know. Germany is destroyed, my home is gone, my family is, she stopped. I don't know if there's anything to go back to. What if there was something to stay for? The implication hung heavy between them. Lena's heart hammered, Jake, we can't, why not? I know it's complicated, I know there are rules and regulations and 1,000 reasons why this is crazy. But, Lena, he stepped closer. I think about you all the time when you're not here. When I wake up, when I go to sleep, you're the first thing I want to see every morning. I'm your enemy, you're Lena. That's all that matters to me. Your family would hate me. Your brother is fighting my country. My brother would want me to be happy, and you make me happy. Jake's voice was raw, with honesty. I know this is impossible, I know I'm probably crazy, but I need you to know I'm falling, for you have been for weeks and I think you feel it too. Lena did feel it. God help her. She felt everything, the attraction, the connection, the sense that Jake Carson understood her better than anyone ever had. What do you want from me? She whispered. Permission to court you properly, to see if this thing between us is real or just wartime? Desperation to find out if maybe, we could be something when the war ends. I'm a prisoner, Jake, you're my guard. This is two people trying to find something good in a terrible situation. That's all. He took her hand, carefully, giving her time to pull away. She didn't say, yes, Lena, say you'll give us a chance. She knew she should refuse, knew this was dangerous, potentially devastating, definitely against regulations. But she looked at Jake, at his honest eyes, his hopeful expression, his hand gentle in hers, and couldn't deny what her heart had been screaming for weeks. "Yes," she breathed, "yes, I'll give us a chance." Jake's smile could have lit the entire Texas sky, and Lena knew she'd just crossed a line she could never uncross. For better or worse, she was falling for the enemy, and she was going to let herself fall. Their courtship had to be secret, careful, navigating regulations that prohibited fraternization between guards and prisoners. But Jake was resourceful and Lena was determined. He'd bring her small gifts, wild flowers hidden in tool bags, letters tucked into work gloves, a carved wooden bird he'd made by hand. "It's a bluebird," he explained, pressing it into her palm. "State bird of Missouri. But we get them here too. They mate for life. Loyal true reminds me of you." "I'm not loyal," Lena protested, guilt surging. "I'm German. Furthermore, I should be loyal to Germany. Instead, I am. You're being human." "That's not betrayal, Lena, that's survival." But the guilt remained, especially when letters arrived from the Red Cross. Her brother was alive, captured by Americans, held in AP camp in Kansas. "He's safe," she told Jake, relief and shame warring in her chest. "He's a prisoner too, like me." "That's good. He'll be treated fair." "Americans follow Geneva Convention, do you?" "Because I'm falling in love with my captor." "Is that fair treatment or something else entirely?" The words escaped before she could stop them. "Love," she'd said it. Jake froze, then slowly smiled. "Say that again." "Which part?" "The love part." Lena's face burned. "I shouldn't have." "Yes, you should have, because I love you too." Lena Fisher have for weeks now just been terrified to say. At first they stood in the barn alone for a rare moment and Jake pulled her close. Their first kiss was tentative, careful, testing boundaries, both physical and emotional. "This is crazy," Lena whispered against his lips. "The war's crazy. This is the set thing in my life." But reality intruded quickly. Jake's father, Old Man Carson, ranch owner, discovered them kissing in the barn one evening. "Jake," his voice boomed with fury, "what the hell do you think you're doing, Dad?" "I can explain. You're kissing a German prisoner, AP. Have you lost your mind?" "I love her," Jake said firmly, not backing down. "I know it seems impossible, but I love her. She's the enemy. Your brother is in Europe fighting Germans. Lena's not fighting anyone, she's a telegraph operator who got captured. She's not a soldier, she's just a woman caught in something bigger than herself. She's German, she's human." Jake's voice rose to match his father's. "And I love her. And when the war ends I'm going to marry her, if she'll have me." The declaration stunned everyone, Lena most of all. "Jake. You can't." She started. "I can and I will. Dad, you taught me to judge people by their actions, not their nationality. Lena works harder than anyone. She's kind, smart, capable. She's everything I want. Why should I let a war I didn't start dictate my heart?" Old Man Carson stared at his son, then at Lena. His expression was unreadable. "This will destroy you," he said. "Finally. People in town will hate you. They'll call you traitor. They'll make your life hell. Then I'll survive hell with Lena by my side." The older man shook his head, turned to leave, then stopped. "She better be worth it, boy, because you're betting your entire future on enemy love." After he left, Lena collapsed against Jake, shaking. "Did you mean it?" she asked. "Marriage, every word when the war ends, when you're free. I want you to stay, be my wife, build a life here." Jake held her face in his hands. "I know it's fast, I know it's crazy, but, Lena, I've never been more sure of anything. You're my future. If you'll have me, your family will hate me, your friends, the whole town. Some will, some won't, but I don't care. I only care about you. What if I have to go back to Germany? What if they make me leave? Then I'll come with you. We'll figure it out together. The promise was insane, impossible, beautiful. Yes, Lena whispered. Yes, I'll marry you when the war ends, when I'm free. Yes, they held each other in the barn, two people from enemy nations choosing love over loyalty, heart over homeland. There's something you need to know, Lena said quietly. I wrote to my brother, told him about you, about us. What did he say? He was angry at first, called me traitor, said I was dishonoring our family. Lena's voice broke, but then his next letter was different, he said. He said, if you make me happy, he'll try to understand that war doesn't have to destroy everything, including love. Smart brother, I hope you meet him someday when all this is over. Me too. But both of them knew the war's end would bring complications neither could fully anticipate. The question wasn't whether they loved each other. It was whether love could survive the chaos that would come when the fighting finally stopped and prisoners like Lena faced the choice between enemy love and homeland. Duty. November 1944, 6 months into their secret relationship, Jake and Lena were experts at stolen moments, brief touches in the barn, whispered conversations during water breaks, letters hidden in fence posts. I got you something, Jake said one evening, pulling a small box from his pocket, early Christmas present, inside a delicate silver ring, simple but beautiful. Jake, I can't accept this. If the guards see it's not an engagement ring, not yet, just a promise that when the war ends. I'm asking you properly. He slipped it on her finger. Until then, keep it hidden, but know it's there, know I'm committed. Lena wore the ring on a chain around her neck, hidden under her shirt, against her heart, physical proof that this impossible love was real. But complications multiplied. The war was clearly ending, Germany losing, surrender inevitable. Other PS constantly about going home, about seeing families, about rebuilding. Are you going back? Greta asked Lena directly one night. When they release us? I don't know. Jake asked me to stay, to marry him and abandon Germany, your brother, your identity? What identity? I'm not a Nazi. I never was. Furthermore, I operated telegraphs. Furthermore, I didn't fight. Furthermore, I didn't support Hitler. What exactly am I abandoning your country? My country destroyed itself, followed a monster, committed atrocities. Lena's voice was firm, I love my brother. I'll always be German in my heart. But my future? She touched the hidden ring. My future might be here. The conversation was interrupted by sirens, guards rushing, shouts in English. What's happening? Lena asked a passing guard. News from Europe, Allied forces advancing. Germany's collapsing war might be over by Christmas. The PS erupted. Some cheering, some crying, everyone processing the magnitude Germany was losing, officially, undeniably losing. Lena found Jake in the barn looking shaken. It's almost over. He said, the war soon. You'll be processed for repatriation, sent back to Germany unless I choose not to go. Can you do that? Just choose to stay? I don't know. I don't know the rules for PS who want to remain in America. Lena gripped his hands. But Jake, I want to stay. I want to marry you, I want to build a life here, whatever it takes. It'll be hard, immigration, paperwork, suspicion. People will hate you. For years, I've survived being a prisoner. I can survive being hated. What about your brother? The question Lena dreaded most. I'll write to him, explain. Hope he understands. Hope someday he can come visit, meet. You see that I chose happiness over allegiance to a country that lost its way. Jake pulled her close. I love you. Whatever happens, whatever you decide, I love you. I love you too, and I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. But the choice became infinitely more complicated when Lena received a Red Cross letter the following week. Her brother had been released from the Kansas P camp. He was returning to Germany. He wanted Lena to come home with him. "Lena, they're releasing us, sending us back to Germany to help rebuild. You need to come home. Our country needs us. I need you." Mother and father would want us together helping rebuild what was destroyed. "Forget the American, forget this foolish wartime romance. Come home to your real family, your brother Very." The letter felt like a knife. Lena showed it to Jake, hands shaking. "He's right," she whispered. "Werner is my family. Germany is my homeland. How can I abandon both for a man I've known less than a year? Because that man loves you more than anything, because you love him back, because home isn't where you're from, it's where your heart leads you." Jake's voice was desperate. "But, Lena, I won't force you. This has to be your choice, completely yours. What if I choose wrong?" "There's no wrong choice, only the one you can live with." That night Lena didn't sleep. She thought about Vera waiting in Germany, about the country and ruins that needed rebuilding, about duty, loyalty, family obligation. Then she thought about Jake, about his smile, his kindness, his hands gentle in hers, about Texas sunsets and the ranch they could build together. About love that transcended nationality. Both choices would destroy something. The question was, which loss could she survive? And time was running out, because the war was ending, and soon she'd have to decide, choose your family or choose your heart. These impossible decisions shaped everything that came next. If you want to see what Lena decides and how love survives when the war finally ends, make sure you subscribe. Her choice will shock everyone, including herself. May 1945. Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was officially over. At the ranch, PS gathered in stunned silence as the announcement played on the radio. "You're going home," the camp administrator announced the next day. "Processing begins immediately. Within 3 months, all PS will be repatriated to Germany, all of us." Lena heard herself ask, "What if? What if someone wants to stay?" The administrator looked surprised. "Stay in America as what? As an immigrant legally, through proper channels? That's complicated. There's no established procedure for PS requesting to remain. You'd need a sponsor, immigration approval, proof of means and, frankly, the political climate right now Americans aren't exactly welcoming German immigrants. But it's possible technically, but highly unlikely. You should plan on returning to Germany." That evening Jake found Lena crying in the barn. "I don't know what to do," she sobbed. "Very expects me home. Germany needs rebuilding. But, Jake, I love you, I want to stay, I want to marry you. I want this life. Then fight for it. We'll find a way. I'll sponsor you. My father will help. Your father hates me. No, he doesn't understand us. There's a difference." Jake held her tight. "Lena, I'm not letting you go without a fight. We'll navigate the immigration system. We'll deal with the paperwork and the prejudice and all of it together. What if they say no? What if they force me to leave? Then I come with you to Germany. We'll rebuild there instead of here. You'd leave Texas, your home, your family, my home is wherever you are. That's what love means." The declaration broke and healed her simultaneously. Over the next weeks, Jake and his father, who'd grudgingly come around, worked with lawyers to file immigration paperwork. It was complicated, no real precedent for PWs marrying Americans and staying. But they pushed every angle, called every favor, navigated bureaucracy with desperate determination. Meanwhile, Lena wrote to Very, "Dear brother, I know you expect me home. I know I should want to return to Germany to help rebuild, to be with family, but I've fallen in love with an American, a good man, who Treats me with respect and kindness. We want to marry. I want to stay in America and build a life here. I hope you can understand. Furthermore, I hope someday you'll meet Jake and see why I'm making this choice. You'll always be my brother. Germany will always be part of me, but my future, my heart, is here. I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, Lena. Very's response came fast and furious. You're a traitor to your family, to your country, to everything our parents believed. Don't contact me again until you come to your senses. The words cut deep. But Lena had made her choice. I'm staying. She told Jake firmly, whatever it takes, even if Vera hates me, even if Germany calls me traitor, I'm staying, you're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Jake kissed her deeply. Then we fight together until they let you stay or physically drag you onto that repatriation ship. The immigration paperwork crawled. Denials came, then appeals, then more denials. The deadline approached. All PS scheduled for departure in August. We're running out of time. Jake's lawyer admitted in July, unless you marry before repatriation they'll force her onto that ship. And even marriage might not be enough. The regulations are unclear. Then we marry now. Jake said today, tomorrow, immediately, whatever it takes, I'm still technically a prisoner. Lena protested, can prisoners even marry? We'll find out. They pushed for emergency marriage approval. Military authorities resisted. The optics were terrible, the precedent dangerous. But Jake's father leveraged connections, called in decades of favors and finally, approval came. You have 1 week. The officials stated. Mary filed the marriage certificate with immigration and pray they accept it as grounds for keeping her in country. 1 week Jake repeated, we can do that. But the universe had other plans. Because 3 days before the wedding Lena received another letter from Vera and this time it changed everything. Lena, I'm dying. Tuberculosis caught it in the P camp. Doctors say I have maybe 3 months. I'm alone in a displaced persons camp in Bavaria. I need you. Please come home. Please don't let me die alone. Your brother, Vera. Lena collapsed. The letter falling from shaking hands. Jake found her, read it, understood immediately the impossible position. Go, he said, voice breaking. Go to him. He's your brother, he needs you. But the wedding, the immigration, everything we've fought for doesn't matter if you can't live with yourself. Very is dying. You need to be there. What about us? We'll find another way somehow. But Lena Jake cupped her face. You can't let your brother die alone. You'd never forgive yourself, and I'd never forgive myself for making you stay. Tears streamed down both their faces. I love you, Lena whispered. I love you too much and that's why I'm letting you go. Furthermore, I'll come back, I swear. Furthermore, I'll go to Vera, help him through this and then I'll come back. We'll figure out the immigration. Then, promise I promise. They held each other, knowing promises meant little against the chaos of post-war Europe, against dying brothers and closed borders and a world still rebuilding. But they promised anyway, because sometimes promises are all you have and sometimes keeping them costs everything. August 1945, Bavaria, Germany. The displaced persons camp was hell, crowded tents, disease, starvation, hopelessness. Lena found Very in a medical tent, skeletal, coughing blood. You came, he whispered, tears streaming. I thought you'd chosen him. Abandon me. Never, you're my brother. Lena gripped his hand. I'm here now. I'll take care of you. Furthermore, I'm sorry for the angry letter for calling you traitor sh. Save your strength. Over the following weeks Lena nursed Very with whatever meager supplies existed. The tuberculosis was advanced treatment nearly impossible in the camp's conditions. But she tried desperately. "Tell me about him," Very said one evening, "the cowboy Jake." "Why?" "Because you gave up everything for me. I should at least know who you sacrificed." So Lena told him about Jake's kindness, his blue eyes, the way he made her feel human when the world insisted she was enemy, about the ranch, the Texas sunsets, the life she'd almost had. "He sounds good," Very admitted, "better than I wanted to believe." "He is good, the best man I've ever known." "Then why are you here instead of with him?" "Because you're dying?" "Because family would want you happy, Lena, not watching me die in this hellhole." We coughed violently. "When I'm gone, and I will be gone soon, promise me you'll go back to Texas, to Jake. Live the life I can't have, Werner. Promise me, I promise." Lena sobbed. But promises meant nothing when borders closed, when immigration laws tightened, when being German in post-war America became impossible. 3 weeks later Very died in Lena's arms, whispering their mother's name. Lena buried him in a mass grave. No marker, no ceremony, just another casualty of a war that kept killing even after peace was declared. Then she tried to leave Germany and discovered her worst nightmare: America had closed its doors to German nationals. No exceptions, no appeals. She was trapped and Jake was an ocean away. Lena wrote to Jake immediately, explaining Very's death and her immigration problems. The letter took 3 weeks to arrive. Jake's response was swift and desperate. "Lena, I'm fighting this. I've hired lawyers, contacted congressmen, called every connection my family has. There has to be a way to get you back. Don't give up. I'm not giving up on us. I love you, Jake." But months passed with no progress. Post-war America was hostile to German immigrants, even ones engaged. To American citizens. The bureaucracy was impenetrable. Lena survived in a refugee hostel in Munich, taking whatever work existed, translating for American soldiers, cleaning, typing, anything to eat. "You should find a German man," her hostel roommate advised. "Rebuild your life here, forget Texas." "I can't forget him." "Then you'll spend your life waiting for something impossible." Maybe it was impossible. Maybe Jake would eventually give up, move on, find an American girl without complications. But his letters kept coming every week, sometimes twice a week. Updates on legal battles, promises that he'd find a way, declarations of love that kept Lena's hope alive. "I'm not giving up," he wrote in December 1945. "Even if it takes years, you're my future. I'll wait as long as it takes." Then, in March 1946, a breakthrough. Jake's lawyer discovered a loophole: fiancé visas for German women engaged to American servicemen. Jake hadn't served ranch work, was his wartime contribution, but his brother had, and his brother could sponsor Lena as a proxy. "It's complicated and might not work," Jake wrote, "but it's a chance we're filing the paperwork." Lena clung to that hope through another 6 months of waiting. The application was denied twice, appealed twice, and finally approved in September 1946. "You're coming home." Jake's telegram read, "Visa approved. Ship leaves Hamburg October 15th. I'll be waiting in New York." Lena cried reading it. 15 months since she'd left Texas. 15 months of grief, bureaucracy, and desperate waiting. But she was going back to Jake, to home. October 15, 1946. Lena boarded the ship with dozens of other German war brides and immigrants. America waited across the ocean, the country that had imprisoned her, then freed her, then locked her out, and now finally welcomed her back. The crossing took 2 weeks. Lena spent the time remembering Jake's smile, his hands, the way he said her name, wondering if he'd changed, if she'd changed, if 15 months apart had destroyed what they'd built. The ship docked in New York on October 28, and there on the dock, Jake Carson stood waiting. Their reunion was everything and nothing like Lena imagined. Jake looked older, thinner, worn by the fight to bring her back. But his eyes, those blue eyes, lit up the moment he saw her, Lena. He pushed through the crowd, grabbed her, held her like she might disappear. "You're real, you're here. I was so afraid. I'm here, I'm really here." She buried her face in his chest, breathing him in dust, leather, Texas home. They married 3 days later at City Hall. No fancy ceremony, no guests, just two people who'd fought bureaucracy and oceans and grief to be together. I, Jacob William Carson, take you, Lena Marie Fisher. I, Lena Marie Fisher, take you, Jacob William Carson. Simple vows, legal paperwork, a ring on her finger. Finally, publicly, permanently. "We're married," Jake said, wonder in his voice, "actually married. Are you surprised?" "I'm amazed, after everything, the war, the separation, all the obstacles, we actually made it." The train ride to Texas took 3 days. Lena watched America pass, vast, wealthy, untouched by bombs, so different from destroyed Germany. "Are you nervous?" Jake asked as they approached Brazos County, about coming back, about people's reactions, terrified. "But Jake, I chose this. I chose you, I chose Texas. Whatever comes, we face together." The ranch looked exactly as she remembered, but the reception was mixed. Old man Carson welcomed her back, grudgingly but genuinely. Some ranch hands were friendly, others cold, suspicious, openly hostile to the German bride. Give them time," Jake counseled Led. "They'll come around when they see you're not going anywhere." Lena threw herself into ranch work, proving her worth through action rather than words. She worked harder than anyone, took the worst jobs, never complained, slowly, grudgingly. Acceptance came, "She's all right." One cowboy admitted after 6 months, "Works hard doesn't cause trouble. Reckon she's more Texan than German now." But the real test came when other PS women Lena had known received their repatriation orders. They visited the ranch asking advice, seeking connection with someone who'd successfully stayed. "How did you do it?" Greta asked. She was being sent back despite wanting to stay. "How did you convince them to let you remain?" "I had Jake. He fought for me, used every resource, every connection, every legal loophole. Without him," Lena's voice broke. "Without him, I'd be in Germany still or dead. Some of us want to stay too. We have," Greta blushed. "We have reasons, men. We've met lives. We've started building. Then fight, use every option, don't give up." But most couldn't. Most were forced onto ships, torn from American boyfriends, sent back to a country that barely existed anymore. Spring 1947. 2 years after the war ended, Lena was pregnant, 6 months along, glowing with happiness and terror. "What if I'm a terrible mother?" she worried. "What if our child hates me for being German? Our child will love you because you're you. German, American doesn't matter, you're going to be an amazing mother." Jake placed his hand on her belly, feeling the baby kick. "This little one is lucky to have you." The ranch had become home, genuinely deeply home. Lena spoke English fluently, now with only a slight accent. She'd learned to cook Texan food, adopted American customs, built friendships with local women who'd moved past suspicion to acceptance, but part of her would always be German. She kept a small trunk of items from Berlin, photographs, her mother's jewelry, various letters, reminders of who she'd been before. The war reshaped her. "Do you miss Germany?" Jake asked one evening. "I miss what it was before Hitler, before the destruction, but that Germany doesn't exist anymore." "What's there now?" She shook her head. "That's not my home. This is in June." Their daughter was born, Emma Carson. Healthy and perfect. Lena held her crying, thinking of her parents who'd never meet this grandchild of Very, who'd wanted her to find happiness. "I did it," she whispered to the baby. "I found happiness, I found home, I found everything. Emma grew up American, speaking English, playing with local children, belonging in ways Lena never fully could. But she was curious about her German heritage, asking questions, wanting stories. "Tell me about Berlin," Emma would say. "Tell me about your brother, tell me about the war." And Lena would tell her carefully, honestly, making sure Emma understood that identity was complex, that people weren't just one thing, that her mother's past was part of her story too. Years passed, the ranch prospered. More former POWs managed to immigrate, creating a small community of German war brides in the area. They'd gather monthly, speaking German, cooking traditional food, maintaining connections to the homeland they'd left behind. "We're lucky," one woman said at a gathering. "So many weren't allowed to stay, so many were forced to choose between love and country." "We all chose," Lena replied. "That's what makes us lucky, we got to choose." But the memory of that choice and its cost never fully faded. In 1955, 10 years after the war, Jake surprised Lena with a trip. "Where are we going?" she asked. "GY to see what's left, to visit Very's grave, if we can find it, to let you say goodbye properly." The trip was healing and heartbreaking. Berlin was rebuilding, but scarred. The refugee camp where Vera died was gone, replaced by new construction. There was no grave to visit, just a memorial with thousands of names. "He's at peace," Lena said, touching Vera's name carved in stone, "and he'd be happy. I chose Jake. I know he would." They returned to Texas and Lena felt something shift, a final letting go of guilt, of divided loyalty, of the girl she'd been. She was Lena Carson, now German-born, but Texan, made a bridge between worlds, a woman who chosen love over homeland and never regretted it. Summer 1965, 20 years after the war, the ranch had expanded significantly, now employing dozens of workers, Americans, Mexican immigrants and even a few German newcomers. Lena, now in her mid-40s, managed much of the daily operations. She'd become a respected figure in the community, no longer the German prisoner, but Mrs. Carson, the capable ranch manager who'd proven herself 1,000 times over. Then came the letter that brought everything full circle. A new work program was being established, not for Germans this time, but for Cuban refugees following the revolution, young women needing work, needing opportunity, needing the same chance Lena had received 20 years earlier. "Will you take them?" the program coordinator asked. "Cuban women, train them like you were trained." Lena looked at Jake. He smiled, squeezed her hand. "Yes," Lena said firmly, "we'll take them." 6 Cuban women arrived in August, scared, uncertain, speaking limited English. Lena saw herself in their eyes, the fear, the dislocation, the desperate hope for something better. "You'll work hard," Lena told them in careful Spanish she'd learned for this purpose. "But you'll be treated fairly. You'll learn skills. You'll build something here if you choose to." Over the following months history repeated, with beautiful variations. The women learned ranch work. They adapted to Texas life and, yes, inevitably some fell. For the young cowboys working the ranch, Mama Emma called one afternoon. She was 18, now working the ranch, preparing for college. One of the Cuban women, Sophia. "She's asking about immigration. She wants to stay marry." One of the hands. Lena smiled, remembering, "Then we'll help her like we were helped." Jake organized the paperwork, navigated the bureaucracy, fought the same battles he'd fought for Lena and slowly against resistance and regulations. Success came. Sophia would stay, marry her cowboy, build an American life from refugee beginnings. At the wedding reception, Jake pulled Lena aside. "You know what I realized," he said that day in 1944 when you first arrived, scared German enemy prisoner. "I never imagined this, that you'd become my wife, my partner, the mother of my children, the heart of this ranch. I never imagined it either. Furthermore, I thought I'd go home to Germany when the war ended. What made you want to stay?" Lena thought back to that pivotal moment, the day the war ended, the announcement of repatriation, the choice she'd faced. "Do you remember that day?" she asked when the administrator said all PS were going home and you, a voice caught with emotion, you pulled me aside and said, "You can go home. Lena, you're free." But I started crying because home wasn't Germany anymore, home was here with you. Jake smiled, remembering you said, "I want to stay." Not asking permission, not uncertain, just clear and certain. "I want to stay." And you said. I said then we'll make it happen, whatever it takes. They watched Sophia and her new husband dance, surrounded by ranch workers from 3 different countries, all building lives in Texas. "We did make it happen," Lena said, "against every obstacle, against regulations and prejudice and an ocean and a dying brother and immigration laws designed to keep us apart. We made it happen because love is stronger than bureaucracy, because home is wherever you choose to build it." Emma approached with Sophia, who looked nervous. "Mrs. Carson," Sophia began in accented English, "I wanted to thank you for helping me stay, for fighting for me," like she paused. "Like someone once fought for you, someone will always fight for you." Lena replied, "When your love is real, when your choice is genuine, the fight is worth it, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard." As the party continued, Lena stood with Jake on the porch watching the sunset paint Texas gold, the same sunset she'd watched 21 years ago as a prisoner. Wondering if she'd survive the war. "You can go home now," Lena quoted softly, remembering that pivotal moment. "That's what they told us when the war ended, you can go home, and you cried," Jake finished, "you cried and said you wanted to stay. Because this," she gestured at the ranch, the people, the life they'd built, "this was already home. I just had to fight to keep it. And you did. We did together." The title of their story had been written at that moment of tears and choice, when a young cowboy offered freedom and a German prisoner realized freedom meant staying, not leaving. "You can go home now," he'd said. "I want to stay," she'd cried. And from that moment, from that choice, that courage, that refusal to let war define love, everything else had followed Emma, Sophia, the expanding ranch, the community of war brides, the proof that enemies could become family and prisoners could become partners. All of it born from one woman's tears and one man's willingness to fight for an impossible dream. "I love you," Lena whispered to Jake. "I love you too, welcome home. Furthermore, I've been home for 20 years, I know, but it's still good to say." They stood together as the Texas sun set, 2 people from opposite sides of a terrible war who discovered that the only side that mattered was the one they chose together. And they'd chosen each other against every obstacle, against every odd, forever.